Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical. I am Jarrell, your wonderful host for the evening, and I am joined by lots of dudes today.
Two dudes is
It's
apparently
uncomfortable. There's too many guys in a room.
Ranch.
What?
All right, and so yeah, with me is Brandon
Hi guys.
and Gabe.
Hello.
And this is what happens when you don't have someone to rein us in. So today we're going to talk all about the previous Nintendo Direct. Yes, it's a little late, but we all have busy lives and we didn't get a chance to talk about it. So now we're going to talk about it. So now you guys get to hear all our opinions on the Nintendo Direct.
That's right.
We're not going to go over it like we usually do, but we're all just going to get a few minutes to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. If you want to review it, I don't care. Just tell me your thoughts on the Direct. If you only want to talk about the positives, go ahead. If you only want to talk about the negatives, go ahead. So what do you guys think about the Direct? Who wants to go first?
I will talk about it a little bit first, just some general stuff. So are we going to like specifics later, or is it just kind of like a general vibe for now?
Oh, go into everything you want to say about it. Now's your chance.
Everything I want to say about it.
Everything you want to say.
Okay.
So I can go after you and disagree with all of it.
Cool.
Just kidding.
We love it. We love it. No. As far as Nintendo Directs go, there was. So you know what the joke was about how last Direct was the farming Direct?
Yes.
This Direct felt like the mystery Direct, where there was a good amount of games that were just kind of like focused on like mystery. So you had Deca Police, which is like the new game from Level 5, which I think looks pretty exciting.
Come on, the racist cop. The racist cop. What
Okay,
was it?
we're not for sure that
We don't know that for
called
sure.
Powerful profiling.
Okay, powerful
we
profiling
have to
might
look back
be.
at the trailer.
It's possible.
There's a black character, and powerful profiling might be one of the moves that the non-black character does.
What was the name of the
I'm
game?
betting
Deca Police.
Deca Police, and I'm betting that they do it to the black guy. Sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's that.
Looks
there's,
great.
Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, which is like a cult classic DS game, is getting a Switch port. That is done by the same guy that Shutakumi, who does like the Ace Attorney series, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So that is one I definitely want to give a try. Professor Layton is coming back. I have not played any Layton games except for the crossover they did with Ace Attorney on the 3DS, and I like the Layton gameplay, so it's a series I'd like to get into at some point. But and there was another trailer for that one game. There it is, Master Detective Archive's Raincoat. So yeah, so there's like 4 mystery games in this thing, and I'm a sucker for these kind of like mystery games. So for sure, I'm getting Master Detective Raincoat and Ghost Trick. The other two is gonna be Professor Layton's no time soon because I'm way behind in that series. Deca Police, I'm gonna just keep an eye on it, see how it turns out. But yeah, just a quick rundown of everything. Pikmin 4, I'm so behind on Pikmin, but I do like the games that I have played. So it's not a day one for me just because I'm so behind, but it's a game. It looks cute. It's a game I want to give a try to at some point. Let's see, skipping down a few of these. Splatoon 3. So interestingly enough, as of this recording, they were saying, hey, Wave 1 of the expansion to going to Inkopolis coming this spring. And then literally today, like this morning, they said, oh, by the way, it's actually coming out on February 28th. I'm like, bitch, what? That's not spring. Like, winter's not even done yet. So it's like, I mean, cool.
Like 2 waves of DLC or something coming out, though?
Correct. The expansion pack for Splatoon 3 has 2 waves of DLC. So for those that didn't see, like, the first expansion is basically you get to go on the rails to go back to Inkopolis, which is the city from Splatoon 1. And basically you get to interact with those shops, see how the town has changed. If you go during Splatfest, you can see Callie and Marie perform if you're nostalgic for that stuff.
Why don't you bring back the black girl?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I wish that you could also go back to whatever this plaza was for Splatoon 2, so you can also see some Pearl and Marina too. But I get
Don't listen to me.
No, but for real though, I love Pearl and Marina, and I'm just like, yo, where they at though? Probably in that DLC. Which, by the way, good segue. Wave 2 of the DLC is is supposed
You
to be
did a great. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, you set it up, and I just kept it going. So credit.
That's why we're co-hosts.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the second wave of the DLC is called Side Order, and it's basically the next single-player content. If it's anything like Octo Expansion from Splatoon 2, that shit's probably going to be hard as hell. For context, I still have not finished Octo Expansion because that shit is actually really hard. I'd like to at one day, but it's very difficult. but it looks like it's based on like the whole. So for those who don't know, the final Splatfest of Splatoon 2 was like between Chaos and Order. Chaos won that Splatfest, so the whole vibe of like the Splatville and Splatoon 3 is meant to be like this like Badlands, Mad Max vibes or whatever, like it was Chaos or whatever. But this DLC seems to be going in the other direction where like everything is all white and like eerie and stuff like that. It's like going on like the full Order thing. We got some Shin Megami Tensei in our Splatoon, I guess, with the whole Chaos and Order nonsense. But that's what the second wave is on. Skipping a few other stuff.
Wait, before you move on to from Splatoon.
Yes, please. What's up?
I want to apologize because I've been laughing, but I've only been laughing because what the fuck is Mad Max Octolings? Like, Squid, what are you talking? Everything that you said to me made no sense. Like, I have played Splatoon, and the more I hear about this game, the more confused I am about what the fuck is going on. Like, I don't understand the enticing aspect of the DLC of Inkopolis because I saw on Twitter, and I don't know how true this is, but I saw someone on Twitter talking about how they're not gonna pay to go into an empty city because that makes no fucking sense. And I was like, well, that really doesn't make any sense. So I hope that's not what the fuck is going on with this DLC. And I remember that while this showed off, I can't remember who said what I think the announcer was like, we're preparing something for Splatoon. I don't know what the exact statement was. And my statement was something to the effect of the same shit they've been doing for the past 7 years, or however many years Splatoon has been out. And I still stand by that. So Brandon, please explain to me, as someone who really likes Splatoon, what is the, like, what's the draw there? Because I've played it and I only have fun when I'm playing with friends. I've had zero interest in doing any single player stuff. I've had zero interest in going back, and I buy the game every fucking year because I'm a pleb, dweeb. I don't know the terminology that kids use these days. I'm whatever that is, and I just like go and buy this game, and I just am not enjoying it. What is the enticing aspect? Like, what brings you back to Splatoon 3, which I still think is exactly like Splatoon 1 with adjustments?
So for me, like, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you that like Splatoon is best with friends. It's definitely like there's some people who can just like go online and just spend hours upon hours just going into turf wars or the ranked modes and just have a blast doing by themselves. I really can't do that except if it's Splatfest, because then there's at least some different stuff going on than the norm. But otherwise, I don't play Splatoon solo. At least not the multiplayer mode solo. Now the single player modes, in my estimation, and you may not feel this way because to me the Splatoon story modes since the first game on Wii U, to me have felt like almost like Mario levels, but with the Splatoon mechanics built in. Like they're very much like these 3D made levels where you're just kind of doing platforming while also doing some shooting, going through enemies. And for someone that likes the Mario series, that's a very appealing thing for me. And I also will attest to the fact that Splatoon storylines have actually been surprisingly good, despite the fact that the world itself is very laid back and carefree. Like they actually have some fun twists. Deep lore if you want it. You don't need to go that deep, but if you do want it, there's some stuff to learn. And Splatoon 3 goes even deeper into that. Like it's again, for those who really care about the story, they've advertised the storyline of Splatoon 3 as kind of like the big finale of the Splatoon trilogy, and there is some stuff that you learn as you go further into the game. So from a single player standpoint, it definitely feels a lot different. If we're talking about the multiplayer aspects by itself, base Splatoon 3 has felt very similar to Splatoon 2, but through updates, I feel like it has been evolving, mainly with like the new weapons and the new weapon types that have been coming along with it, and some of like the new modes. Now, as far as this DLC though, the Inkopolis DLC, we'll go back to the city of Splatoon 1. As someone that has been with the series since the beginning, there's appeal to there for me because it is cool that you'll be able to go back to the city, which for all intents and purposes is not really accessible because, you know, Splatoon 1 is on a completely different system. So a lot of people just wouldn't have access to that. So I can also see the appeal for a new person that, you know, maybe they got a Nintendo Switch and they started with Splatoon 2 and never saw Inkopolis, and now they have the ability to go there. Now, the question is that unfortunately they have not answered, what can you really do there besides explore? It's like a different hub, right? So what's there more to do than the hub? Like, I don't know if there's like more stages that is coming with that, like from Splatoon 1 or 2. Like that's unfortunately there's way too many question marks with that first wave of DLC. Now wave 2 also has some question marks. Was that?
How much is the DLC?
Great question because I haven't bought it yet. They also didn't say that in the direct, which is also like, I don't know about that one.
For anyone listening, Gabe just made a face because he doesn't want to pay for it.
Grayson's also in chat saying, as a dedicated Splatoon player,
have the game.
Grayson is saying, as a dedicated Splatoon player, I'm disappointed at the first half of the DLC, and that's kind of where I'm at.
What? As
a dedicated Splatoon player, he was disappointed at the first half of the DLC. In other words, what I'm talking about, Inkopolis. And
see, Grayson also thinks Inkopolis is going to be
empty. It's $25.
Is 25 for both of them? I think Octo Expansion was like
expansion pass. It just says $25.
Interesting, because I think if I remember correctly, the Octo Expansion when it came out Splatoon 2 was like $20. So if
ask Grayson if he wants to join us.
Hey Grayson, you want to join? You want to join this call? You want to be on the podcast?
You're already here. No.
If you want to be on this podcast, you can totally join. If you want to just stay on chat, that's fine too. But yeah, continuing what I was saying. Now the Wave 2 DLC is they've kept that vague, and I think they should since that's far away. But I think that's single player content, so at this point it's probably too premature to know that some of the stuff anyways. I think the main thing was the Wave 1, which again I don't think he's about to cook for his man. So that's fine, Grayson. Hang out with us on chat.
Oh my god, that's so sweet.
Grayson be
cook for me.
Quick aside, Grayson be posting these on his socials, these crazy dishes that he makes, and they look amazing. And every time I see them, I just want him to just like take a travel to where he lives and just eat. Honestly.
I'm gonna say something about what Grayson posts, but we're live.
So I think I've said all my pieces of Splatoon for the time being, unless there's any more questions.
I'm so sorry because I just made you talk about Splatoon for far too long. I apologize. I just want to know why people care.
I don't know.
And I guess because they want to... I guess the answer is if you're interested in seeing what Splatoon 1 was all about, or if you are there for nostalgia. And a lot of people love this direct because nostalgia, so it makes sense. All you old people.
There was a lot of nostalgia. And I have some stuff to say about that soon. But like, yeah, moving right along. I'm still playing Fire Emblem Engage. The DLC dropped for that on the same day. I'm gonna echo what Grayson just said on chat. He said that should be a free update. I think the Inkopolis one should be free, not a paid DLC. I think that part should be free. Now the single player content, it depends on how much they add, but if it's anything like the Splatoon 2 single player content, that's like a whole extra campaign. So I think it was worth the price. But anyway, we're done with Splatoon. I don't want to keep staying on this.
I think the whole thing should be free. Because I paid $60 for that game, and that's worth $40 because it's just an upgrade. So you should give me all the DLC for free. Anyways. I'm just hating. Go ahead.
So, Fire Emblem Engage, I'm still playing that DLC. Wave 2 of the DLC just dropped, which adds Hector, Soren, and Camilla. I've already done all the paralogs to get those characters because I am using them in my current playthrough.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I'm pay to win. Yeah,
literally. Oh my god,
for,
it literally is pay to win. Like that's not even a joke. This DLC is 100% pay to win because if you have played this game and played with the DLC, it is like if you're past chapter 10, it is 100% pay to win. That's crazy. I never thought of it that way. That's amazing.
Yeah, I like them though. I don't care. Hector is just like a great tank for those who want to play a little more defensively. Camilla will just let you like make any unit a flying unit.
Camilla is actually the worst.
I've been making good use of her. I disagree.
He's the worst of the three.
Soren and Chrissy will hate me for saying this, but Soren I think is just like a worse version of Celica. But I don't have Celica right now, so there you go.
And Camilla is literally a worse version of Corrin. Like what, bro?
She's a better version of Corrin. The hell?
Okay, whatever. Katie's got you like confused.
The flying got me. The hell? You can fly with anyone anyway. So Fire Emblem Engage. Wave 3 is going to have Robin and Chrom and Veronica from Heroes. Looking forward to that. And Wave 4 is going to have the new story content. That's what I'm really excited for because I want to see what the new story content they add too. Anyway, Octopath Traveler 2. Let me just say real quick. We got some demos, like 3 demos dropped in this direct. Octopath Traveler 2, Sea of Stars, Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Yeah, I think those are the 3 demos. I haven't gotten to Octopath yet, but I played the Kirby demo with my nephew. It looks beautiful. The new mini games added are a lot of fun. And I played the Sea of Stars demo, and let me just say this. Sea of Stars became like a curiosity but after playing that demo, it may very well be a day one for me now. I really enjoyed that demo, and it's not long either. It's like an hour. And you know me, I'm notoriously slow when it comes to RPGs. I still finished that demo with an hour, so I think it's worth a try if you're on the fence about it.
I was having like
because I have so many issues. But I have so many issues with all these things, but it's not my turn. Okay, while you're looking up whatever you're looking up.
No. I know what to go next. So I'm just paused because you have some stuff to say. Let's hear.
Sea of Stars has so many issues. Okay, I will preface this by saying I watched my boyfriend play the demo. I did not play it because I was working. However, the biggest complaint that I have was with that demo is, first of all, I really hope that they're doing a survey to take player feedback, because there are some glaring issues. One of them being you can't fucking move fast. You have to walk.
Yes,
every
agreed.
Fucking thing.
Agreed.
As I watched him play, I was like, "You finna keep playing this?" Because like, I have no interest in like playing that myself, and it sucks because this is such a game that such a developer, and a game that's been so hyped. It shouldn't have the basic issues that it currently has. Like and I'm happy that you liked it, and I'm happy that you had a good time with it. It looks really fun, but even a lot of things aren't explained in that demo. Like there are a lot of things that are just like trial and error. Figure out what these little balls are when you hit an enemy. How do they work? Like a lot of it is just like we threw together this piece and put it out there. You can play it now right after the direct. Good luck. And I don't like that at all.
So here's what basically. So there's a tutorial in the game, but here's the thing. It's not introduced to you organically. Like you have to just kind of go into the menu to look it up, and I feel like that's something that they'll fix in like the full game. I think they only did it that way because it is like a vertical slice, so you have the option of like just looking it up if you really want to know everything, or just figuring it out on yourself if you want to. But I guess we'll see in the full game. But that person didn't bother me. But yeah, no, a run. We need a run. I definitely felt that as I was progressing.
Really? You really have to walk through the village, like the town, super slow the entire time? This has to be a joke. And like, it's not. Like I will not play that game. If the actual game is like that, I promise you I will not play it. Octopath lets you fucking run.
Yeah. But that original Octopath demo had some issues too that they ironed out.
And they fixed it.
Yeah, and they'll fix this too. So I'm really not worried personally, but
I guess will they?
Exactly. Will they?
This developer has pedigree with the Messenger. I have no doubt
that why it shouldn't be an issue already.
It's a different genre. What you mean?
Okay, but you've made a game before. Like it's not like
what studio made this game?
It's called Sabotage. They're the guys that made the Messenger.
Yeah, they're sabotaging their own game.
Got it.
That wasn't planned. It popped into my head. I actually didn't know who the developer was.
I just sound like a hater, so I'm gonna shut up.
Anyways, yeah, that's the demos that released.
Said anyway. Shut the fuck up.
Advanced Wars 1 and 2 finally got a new release date. So I'm very happy about that. I will be playing that a lot. I made a promise on Twitter that if this game got a new release date on the Direct, that I would buy the outfit for a character from Advanced Wars called Grit. It is in this big Amazon package now. It came yesterday. So
making these promises on Twitter, friends.
Listen, I probably would have done it anyway if I'm being
okay, fine. Like, what a random ass.
I'm not one of those people that like, you know, those dumb people on Twitter be like, man, if this actually gets announced, I'll eat like a log or some shit like that. Stuff that they don't think will ever happen, and then it does, and then they're like, yeah, what's up with that log? You gonna eat that? It's just like, I'm not that kind of person. So really, it was just something that I was already gonna do, and I framed it as I was like, listen, if you know, I'll do this.
There you go. Okay, I can accept that.
That's really all it was, to be perfectly transparent. That being said, if they didn't announce a day for that, my hype would have evaporated, and maybe I wouldn't have done it. So who knows? Who knows what would have happened? I'm just glad they got that announcement.
If one person follows me on Twitter, I will buy the collector's edition of Octopath Traveler 2.
You heard it here first, people. You heard it here first. One new follower. Do you have a time limit for this new follower? Or
Gabe is gonna go unfollow me right now.
And follow back.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm gonna buy it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. So speaking of stuff that also shadow dropped on that day, Metroid Prime Remastered also shadow dropped.
Advance Wars didn't shadow drop that day.
I'm sorry. That when I said speaking of, I was referring to the demos that also shadow dropped. But
Okay.
but yeah, remastered shadow drop. If you're getting a digital, I want to get the physical. So for me, it's not coming out until February 22nd, which is next week. But I've heard nothing but good things about the remaster of Metroid Prime. For context, I have played the original on GameCube and adored it. And
Metroid Prime.
Yes, Metroid Prime. And I also replayed it when it came out on Wii via the Metroid Prime trilogy and enjoyed it there. And I'm about to play this game a third time because Prime 1 is amazing. Yeah, I don't have any more to say about that. When it comes out, I will play it. It's thankfully not a very long game, so I can sandwich a quick playthrough in between all these other games I'm going through. But yeah, you know what else came out that day? Game Boy and Game Boy Advance to the NSO. So if you are a regular NSO subscriber, you now have Game Boy games to play along with your NES and Super Nintendo games. And if you're a expansion pass member, then Game Boy Advance games have been added. And I think the lineup of launch games, I think does a good job of like demonstrating like what each platform was kind of about. You have like these quick games like Tetris, which you can just do a quick few sessions and be done with it. Kirby Dream Land, which is just a straight up quick platforming game. You have Alone in the Dark, the new Nightmare, which is just straight up like an exploration type game that will take up a lot of time. You have a Zelda game, that's great. Just a good amount of variety, both on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance side. Looking forward to giving those a try. I have not played any of those yet because at some point HP Criticals doesn't hold up a return, and I want some fresh takes on those on the Switch. All I've really done is like test the filters on both of them to see how they go, and I could not imagine playing those games on like the smaller screen that you can do on the Switch, because the Switch as it is, the size of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games will not take up the whole size of your Switch, which is a good thing because if it stretched out too much, the resolution looks awful. But you can make it even smaller. You can make it like as if the screen was on a Game Boy or on a Game Boy Advance screen, and it is so small. But whatever. If the purists really want it, that option is there for them. With all those filters, I really don't mess with those filters. I just want to play the games, man. Like even as someone that played the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, I don't have this nostalgia that I need to play it in the exact way I did when I was little Timmy or little Brandon in this case. Like I just want to play the games, man. That's all that matters to me, really. We have to mention this from Marissa's sake. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 remaster got announced. That was literally her dream announcement for that game to come back, and now they're releasing both 1 and 2 in a remaster on Switch. Between her and a good friend of mine named Oscar Dro, you've spoken to him on a Splatoon stream. Between those two, I have heard nothing but good things about that game, and so I am eager to give it a try when it eventually relaunches on Switch. So that'll be cool. Fantasy Life, yay! Fantasy Life. No one else seems to care about Fantasy Life, but that's another game that me and Oscar played a lot back when the original one was on 3DS. It is a lot of fun. Hopefully, we're crossing our fingers that it has multiplayer, just like the first one did, because that game is a lot of fun. It is a fantasy life, you might say. Yeah. Anyway, Mario Kart. I'm happy that one of the new course they showed is a new course, an actual new course, and not just like a course from the past. The Yoshi's Island course legitimately looks really good. And hey, Birdo's getting out his character, and it's not even Birdo that I'm necessarily excited about. She's cool and whatever, but it's the fact that characters are getting added to these waves now, and not just courses. So that opens up a lot of possibilities. I feel like Birdo is not going to be the only character added for this particular wave. I could be wrong. I guess we'll see. But I'm excited to see what the other courses of this wave is going to end up being, because I like Yoshi's Island. I like it a lot. Tales of Symphonia. Yeah, I guess the last thing is Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like I should probably wait on this though, because I feel like me and Gabe can like go back and forth on this, and Jarrell as well. Like all of us can like just like talk about it. So I'm just gonna leave it there for now, and I'll come back to that later.
You're muted.
No, now you're muted. Now
That was weird.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, because I was not muted. That was so strange. I was looking up the release date of Mario Kart 8. It came out in 2014.
Yeah, it did. Oh, are we going back to this again, or like?
Yes, it's time to shoot the horse in the head. Die
Thank
already,
you. That
damn
game
it.
is almost 10 years old, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna throw in Birdo." First of
So
all,
we are
why
doing
was
this
Birdo
again.
not
All right,
here?
continue.
Yes, we are. Because
You
why
don't
was
know.
Birdo not in like?
Because we're in
5
wave
years
4
ago?
and we talk about this
Why?
every single time. Like wave
Because
1, yeah, I'm excited.
why?
Why are they doing this? Wave 2, why are they doing this? Wave 3, why are they doing this? We're in wave 4 now. Like, are we not done with this yet?
My problem with it is that like if you're gonna continue to tell people that you're not gonna move on from the Switch from now on, that just means we have to wait. God knows how many years to get the new entries in these series because they're not going to release a Mario Kart 9 at the end of the Switch lifeline. It wouldn't make any sense.
I think at this point it's a launch title for whatever the next system is.
Exactly. So like my thing is you're gonna continue to make us play Mario Kart 8 simply because we don't have another Mario Kart on the Switch. They won't give us a remake of Double Dash. They won't add anything else. They just keep giving us Mario Kart 8 stuff and like, cool. The game did really good for you. It brought you a lot of money. Move on. Like this is the same problem a lot of people have with Skyrim. Stop bringing that game back from the dead. Let it die. Let it stay where it is. There's no reason to keep pushing something that's old. Like I know I sound really mean right now, but like Mario Kart 8, it should have just been the base game. We got the deluxe version, and then within a year or two of the deluxe version coming to the Switch, it should have been boom, boom, boom. Here's your DLCs of the new content, and then just tell up front, Mario Kart 9 is not going to come until the next generation.
Nintendo is not upfront about this stuff.
I completely agree with
that's not upfront because they literally have not said Mario Kart 9 is not coming to Switch.
That's what I'm saying. They're not upfront. They're not going to tell you that Mario Kart 9 is not coming out to the next.
That's the thing though. When it came to the Wii U, they're like, yeah, we're going to kill this machine really soon. Everything that you've been waiting for.
They didn't even say that.
Yes, they did.
No.
They 100%. Yes, they 100% said we're moving on from the Wii U, and they said it confidently as hell.
After the Wii U was done.
No, they said it towards the end of the Wii U lifeline. Like, hey, we're done with this machine. We're sorry. You're gonna have to wait a little bit on other projects to come out. They said that full chest in front of everybody.
Nah.
They're milking the shit out of Mario Kart.
Where do they say this?
Yeah. So
where do they tell the people that?
My issue is exactly what Gabe said. This is the most ridiculous 10-year milking life cycle of a game that I have ever experienced. And people love Mario Kart, so you guys are just going to accept a new character and a new stage and be like, oh my god, this is awesome. How much is this DLC?
I'm paying nothing for it because I'm part of the expansion pass.
That's not true.
So that's $75 for you.
So it's literally
$75
a year by yourself to access what's coming out. I mean, yes, it's free. Sure, we can say that it's free, but you still have to pay for the expansion pass. If you do not pay for the expansion pass, how much do you have to pay for this content?
I think it's 20
per wave.
All 6.
All 6 are $20.
I believe so.
Why can't we move on? I just don't understand. I just don't understand why it's 10 years later and they're like, "Oh, Birdo's coming." Like
the answer is the same.
Like,
The answer to that question is the same that I gave when we had this discussion for all three previous waves. It's because Mario Kart 8 continues to sell on the Switch, and they're not planning on doing the next Mario Kart.
They literally bundle it so everybody has it. It's
so
not
people
like
buy it.
Still going out to buy Mario Kart 8. Like, they're literally getting it for free.
Yeah, we have the same Black Friday deal for Nintendo Switch for the past
with Mario Kart 8 bundled in it.
And people buy it and people play it. Like the numbers don't lie on that.
Okay, what are the Mario Kart 8 sales for 2022?
For 2022?
Yeah.
You want me to give you exact? All right, let me look at it for you.
Yes, because I want to see who's buying this, and then I'm gonna yell at them for buying a 10-year-old game, and making it feel like it's fucking brand new. It bothers me personally.
52 million.
You have
since
a
2017.
Yes, 52 million is the number according to this.
Of just last year.
It passed total as of 2022.
Yeah, of course it would. It's 10 years old and everybody has it. I'm not surprised that it has more than 50 million copies sold. I would like to see how many they sold in the last year with the DLC.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
It's also $25, not $20. You lied.
Like I said, I had no idea. I was just like, yeah.
I hate when people like do the reports on sales and then they don't give you like by year.
That's what I'm looking for too.
Yeah, it's like
it doesn't matter. I just feel like it is now time to stop milking this 10-year-old game from the Wii U. Okay,
and we can talk about that when Wave 6 is out, because they already pledged 6 waves. It just seems like we're beating a dead horse again.
Brandon's like, shut the fuck up. Okay,
well, I am saying shut the fuck up. Like,
my other problem is they're trying to make it seem like it's brand new by throwing Birdo in there. Okay, so y'all
and Yoshi's Island
added another. Why aren't you working on new things? Like, who is? Why
this is new things. It is a new course. They did not remaster course.
Why aren't you working on new games?
They are. We're cooking for the next system.
Finding people to do this 10-year-old game shit, Nintendo. I don't
because
care.
we love it.
Old Mario Kart game. Just use Mario Kart Double Dash. Like literally, the Switch is made for that.
You mean the second best Mario Kart game?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going there. If we're going there, we're going there.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm just saying, if you're gonna keep pushing old stuff, just put a new old stuff.
I could go for a Double Dash remaster. Like I do.
We could all go for a Double Dash remaster as long as it's not Mario Kart 8.
Thank you. I'm happy. I'm happy for people who can still play Mario Kart 8. I was done with it on the Wii U, and now I can't seem to ever get away from it because
you also have never played with you also have never played with me, which makes me sad.
I literally have played with you.
No, that's true. Yeah, you have. It was like in the first year, though.
The game has been out 10 years almost. We have played together before.
Once.
No, that should tell you how much I care about this game.
All I'm saying is I have invited both of you to every single Wave launch stream, and none of you have turned it.
Because that game has been deleted off my library for years.
Okay. I played it on the Wii U. Now I only play it when my nieces and nephews and my cousins come over. I don't want to race these same tracks. Oh wow, they added new tracks from old games. I don't want to play them either because I don't want to play this game no more. Give me a new Mario Kart. If we were playing the same Pokemon game from 9 years ago and they just keep giving us new DLC, they're like, oh, we're just gonna add new Pokemon in it. Oh, here's a new area. Oh, here's a new area. Would you have the same feeling?
Yes.
I don't think so. I feel like
if it's new areas, then yes. If it's new, if all they did was just add Pokemon, then I'd be like, yeah. When's the next one? But if I have something to do, I don't care.
So think about the amount of innovation that has happened in Pokemon in the last 9 years, and the amount of games that have come out in the last 9 years, and then look at the same Wii U title that's been out for the last 9 years, and what could have been with Mario Kart. Instead, you got Birdo in a new stage. I hope you're happy, which apparently you are. So that's fine.
Why did you say Birdo like a slur?
Listen, Birdo's great. But like, if you could play as Link, why would you play as Birdo? Like, if you could play as yourself, why would you play as Birdo? I know people love Birdo, and I'm not here to talk shit about Birdo. Birdo's great. I'll just refer to my Pokemon comparison. Like, in the last 9 years, what we could have had versus us still having this fake upside down anti-gravity thing, and they're just throwing new courses at it. I feel like it's time to move on. And they're not going to, as Brandon said, because we have 2 more waves. At least it's only $25.
Yeah.
And I got it because it's the NSO. I'm sorry, I was saying, if you wanted to say something about Zelda, go ahead.
Do we want to do the Zelda talk now? Because I was going to just transition that to whatever else anyone wants to talk about.
I mean, yeah, we can talk about it now.
Okay. I'm going to say something. Well, here's the thing. Of course, I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom. It is a day one. I have said that like on several podcasts now. I even got the collector's edition pre-ordered. I'm excited. I'm going to be honest, though. Aside from the Ganondorf thing in the beginning of the trailer, and the vehicles, this trailer just felt like a lot of the other trailers for Tears of the Kingdom, where it just showed like it's more Breath of the Wild, and here's a few new areas and a few old areas too. It feels like a very iterative sequel, which is not something that I hate. I don't.
Hold on. Before you keep going, so you're saying that the rest of the trailer felt like you were looking at a game that's already been out for
9 years? Oh, okay, because that's
Breath
what
of the
I was
Wild?
gonna say.
Breath of the Wild? It's been out for 9 years?
No, it's been out for 5, 6.
And
Thank you, because that's exactly what I was about to say.
So thank you for twisting my words. I said it didn't disappoint me. I'm just saying that this trailer did not do a lot. Is all I'm saying. But there's a different thing there as well. Whereas the difference between a game that you know is the same game and a game that you know that is an additional game as well. I'm still excited though.
Valid criticism, but I also agree with the same criticism I had for Mario Kart 8. No, I think that's a very valid criticism. I don't know. Obviously, you guys know much more about Zelda than I do. Clearly, I'm still not done with Breath of the Wild, but I got time. And I know. I gotta get enough hearts to get the sword so I can finish the damn game.
You only need 13.
Okay, I only have like 6. My stamina wheel is like super far because I just run away.
That's where you messed up.
Oh man.
No, it's great. It's wonderful. I can never die.
It's a hard mode.
I can just run.
Just run.
It makes more sense to have more stamina than hearts to me based on the way I play. Because I can just.
That's fair. No, that's fair. You won't get the master sword, but that's fair.
I don't need the heart. But what?
You need
the master sword.
Well, technically,
that's what I gotta get. Hold on. That's the problem.
I mean, if we want to get real technical, you don't even need the master sword to finish this game.
Yeah, but I need it.
Actually, well, then you need. Jarrell likes the story, so he needs the master sword. He needs the master sword for the cutscene.
That's true.
But anyway, so I watched this and I thought it was fine, and that's me coming as a brand new Zelda fan. Brand new Legend of Zelda series fan, rather, even though I've only played like 3 games. As a brand new fan, I thought I thought the trailer was fine. I feel like it showed enough of the old things that I don't even know about to get people excited. I was asking Gabe in our chat about why the game was why the developers originally said that the title of the game was going to be a spoiler so that they couldn't originally tell us. And the reason I brought that up was because I kept thinking, wow, all these trailers are showing so little. Like, they're really keeping everything about this game close to the chest until its release. Yeah. And that makes sense because just with Breath of the Wild being the comparison point for open world games since its release and the game, it would make sense that you don't want anything ruined. But I can also see why people would be like not excited for this game. Not excited by the trailer because the trailer was very much Breath of the Wild. Like, I saw a bigger Breath of the Wild, but that's okay for me. However, I think if you're looking for more, you might just have to wait to see what's coming, because I really feel like with this game they've been very, very secretive about what they want to show off. And even with like the clips, the very specific clips that they're showing, right? I made a message in our chat about I think it was the Nintendo Facebook, one of the Nintendo Facebooks that had like the image of Zelda, and it was like, she's courageous, she's heroic, and and look what's in her hand, and it was the Sheikah Slate in her hand, right? And I was like, oh well, this is clearly them showing us that we're gonna be able to play as Zelda, and like. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to happen, but those little teases I think are fun. Now, I'm hoping. I also mentioned that this is going to be the biggest game file size on the Switch so far of the Switch's like entire life, and I'm wondering how it's going to look, because one of the issues with Switch is that you got to make your game look good in handheld mode and on TV.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you would want to.
Yeah.
And that's a really big file size. And one of my biggest complaints about Breath of the Wild was that it looked bad. It looks better now that I've gotten used to it. It's still not by any means Fire Emblem Engage, obviously, because it's older and we were working with different things, different developers, etc. But this trailer also looks. It doesn't look like they did. It looks better, but it doesn't look like it's 5 years in development better. But it's also, to be fair, a huge freaking game. So I have no complaints about it. I say all this to say I had no complaints about the trailer. I hope I get to play as Zelda. It looks good to me. I want to finish the original so I can jump in.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Please.
I'm gonna disagree with everything everyone just said about the trailer.
He said
no, except for Jarrell, because Jarrell actually gave it some good pointers. There was a lot in that trailer. There was a good chunk in that trailer. We got to see brand new enemies instead of modified enemies like we did in the first two trailers. Yes. We saw brand new enemies, those weird flying things. actually kind of gave me the spooks. We finally heard Ganondorf's voice, which I
Yep.
think we can all agree in was
That was
the
great.
night. It's probably one of the best white men you can get to play Ganondorf. Jarrell's not too
Yeah.
sold on it. We'll wait a little bit.
Okay, I love him, but it was okay.
You'll warm up to it. Um, we definitely saw new. I'm not gonna say mechanics, but Link was wielding different weapons than he normally was. There was what looked like a fucking cannon sword.
A
Um,
cannon sword. I didn't see that.
yeah, it's towards the beginning when they start showing the gameplay.
Okay, I gotta look at that
I'll
again.
I'll try and screenshot it for you because I
Okay.
looked at it and I was like, is that an item or is that a weapon? Because I want them to bring items back.
There's a
Um,
car, which
Same.
is cool as fuck.
yeah, you saw
And like
different.
a flying helicopter
Yeah, you
shit.
saw
I don't know.
different mobility options. Like,
Yeah,
no
that
offense
looks
to the
cool.
paraglider, but I've always wanted something a little more. Um, we definitely see how Link loses his Master Sword yet again.
Yeah,
Um,
he do
See
be
that?
losing that sword
There's
a
no
lot.
point in me getting it now.
I mean, it helps you with the fight. It helps you with
No, I'm getting it anyway.
it helps you with calamity fights. But sure, make your life harder for yourself in that game. Um, damn, there's another part I was gonna say. We definitely kind of got more of an inkling of what Tears of the Kingdom could be referring to. Um, Zelda's last line in the trailer was, "Please lend him your power."
Hmm.
And for the longest time, a lot of fans of the game have been trying to decide, like, oh, is this Link going to the past? Because we do see clips of him in a very, I was gonna say Neanderthal, in a very, yeah, I don't know why I was gonna say Neanderthal. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of right now. In a,
Ancient.
there we go. Yeah, in a very ancient like outfit. I don't know what I was gonna say Neanderthal. In very ancient garbs and stuff. Um, but then there's some of us who really believe that there's gonna be a not like a major time travel section, but for example, like there's a lot of us that believe that Zelda was speaking to the old heroes,
Hmm.
aka other links, asking them to lend her power. Or like Jarrell said it might be that we're going back in time and resurrecting the dad.
Did I?
Oh no, yeah, because I was that was when I was asking about why do we call her Princess Zelda and not Queen Zelda?
Right.
Uh, I was
Um,
just talking shit, but
Which
probably.
by the way,
I mean,
Gabe, I want like I don't know if I
it's a
mentioned it
black
on
font.
chat. I don't know if I mentioned it on chat after you had said that, but that sent me on a straight up mental rabbit hole where I
You
was just
did
Yeah,
mention,
I
okay, I
yeah.
was
did
driving
mention. I was
home.
like,
I
well,
was driving
shit.
home, and
Why has she
I'm
never
like,
been queen? There's been so many times that
yeah,
the king is just gone.
like I'm driving home, like, oh yeah, Prince. I was like, Princess better. Oh, because I heard the King's theme in my playlist, and I was like, why is she still Princess? He's dead. Anyway, so
Spoiler alert, they do that in Fire Emblem Engage too.
do I? Oh
No,
yeah, he doesn't. Well, the Divine Dragon. No, he
I'm
becomes
not talking
the
about
divine.
the Divine
I'm talking
Dragon.
about him. Oh my
I'm
God!
saying that
Don't tell me.
I,
Don't tell me the
all
queen
I said
dies.
is
No,
sometimes people don't
no.
get promoted like they're supposed to when their parents die
But
in
now
other games.
this is making me think one of the. Okay, anyway, I have to talk to you about that later then, because if it's the person that dies that I think is dying, I'm gonna be very sad. Um, this is why I don't sidetrack, because then I lose all my train of thought. But yeah, so I guess because again, Tears of the Kingdom is still kind of a very loose title to give it. Like you could like at first when they first announced it, there was like, is it Tears of the Kingdom or Tears of the Kingdom? It's Tears.
Hmm.
But like there's just so much that you could do with that it's hard to see how it could spoil it. Um, Something that popped in my mind earlier today was we were actually still not 100% sure where in the timeline Breath of the Wild happens. And all of a sudden, it kind of dawned on me like, what if this is the Hyrule that's flooded before Wind Waker? Brandon, know what I'm talking
I
about?
do. Yes.
So that, and like, so Tears of the Kingdom can be like, oh, the land of Hyrule is dying. And, Zelda said it in the trailer, which I think was kind of shitty considering Link usually comes to save the day, where she was like, "You won't be able to defeat him by yourself." or you won't be able to defeat him this time. And it's like, why would you tell him that? Like, this man has been given his life and limb all these years. Huh?
Oh, you should let him know, because if he's gonna run in here like a dumbass thinking he can do it and die, look, bro, you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself. Like,
His
I'm
job
telling you right
is
now.
to protect the princess. That's all he has to do. You can't tell the person protecting you you're gonna fail, because it's like, what am I
You're
doing with my
gonna
life
fail.
then?
What
That's
am I fighting
horrible. But so there again, there's a lot you can take from Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of it is probably going to be wrong. A lot of us probably sound far-fetched. There's a good chance that the game is going to be completely different from what we thought it was going to be in terms of, the title. But there is a lot in the trailer to dissect. I saw someone on YouTube. They had a freaking 40-minute video dissecting the trailer. I couldn't even do that. I didn't watch it because I was like, you're gonna give me a headache.
Those people always impress me, like how much they're able to pick off from just these short trailers. I used to watch those videos immediately after a trailer. I don't do that anymore, but like it always impressed me just how much they would get from them. Like, my goodness. And I
was like, do you not have a real job?
I mean, a lot of those people get paid for that though.
What's your overall thoughts on the trailer during the direct?
I think the trailer was really nice. It gave me a look at gameplay I've been wanting to see. The little weird arrow thing that happened, I was like, oh, that's cool. I know we have another bigger trailer coming, because this is kind of the way they marketed Breath of the Wild, is they gave us the snippets first, and then we had a 4-minute length video showing Hyrule and showing, actual game, like direct gameplay from the game with a little bit of story elements in it. So I know we have one more coming up at least. But I thought it was a really good trailer. I keep watching it. One thing that I generally liked about the trailer is that it solidified the main theme, which I know to other people isn't a big thing, but like to me, the music is always something that makes a game. So it's the theme that we had in the previous trailer. Mm-hmm. It's just nice to know that that's the main theme for the thing, because Breath of the Wild kind of had very soft music, but that kind of set the mood for Breath of the Wild. It was telling you what the game was about. So to hear a big brass of instruments just not blaring, but making this big giant kind of majestic sound for the main theme is very like, yes, we're gonna have like music for this. That was a really good trailer in my opinion.
Because the
because the first Breath of the Wild trailer started very quiet, but still though, very nice theme. I think my favorite part of the trailer though was Link jumping after Zelda.
Yeah, that was great. Reach for my hand, I'll soar away. Anyways,
you ruined it.
I saved it for Jarrell, apparently.
Yes, I loved it. It wasn't ruined at all. It was perfect. I will say, the last thing I'll say about this, because I don't have much more to say about this, is that I do like the tone of this game more than I think I liked for Breath of the Wild. But I really, it's giving me some dark vibes. People going die.
It does give me that. It does give me them vibes. It's definitely gonna be a darker game,
and that's why I'm excited for it personally.
It seems to follow the tradition that a lot of Legend of Zelda games see, that if it does get a direct sequel, that sequel usually ends up being pretty dark. Like Majora's Mask was that way. Zelda 2, I would argue, was darker than Zelda 1. So it's just a trend that I've noticed. So yeah, I think that will follow suit. What were you gonna say?
If one person follows me on Twitter, I will get the collector's edition of Tears of the Kingdom.
That's now 2 collector's editions he has promised live on stream, so y'all already know what to do.
He already has to buy one.
How much is the 140, 130?
120 for 130 for the collector's edition for Tears of the Kingdom.
Damn it.
Yeah, you messed that up.
It's not focusing, but that's
all right. Well, now I gotta go buy the Tears of the Kingdom collector's edition.
His hand has been forced.
What it is.
I will just real quick, because I know I spoke about it before, but just to give my overall summary of the trailer, I think, despite what I said earlier, I think it does a good job of conveying what Tears of the Kingdom is supposed to be. Like, obviously, Gabe was able to get a lot of interesting info from the trailer, stuff that I missed for sure. So for Zelda fans, they definitely had some stuff that they could pick up on. But also, the fact that it is basically, more of what Breath of the Wild was, but like in more areas, more enemies and stuff like that. I think it does a good job of selling what this game is supposed to be, which is what the original title was before they gave us the official title was the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I think that it's right. It was right there. You know, that's what the game was always supposed to be. Like Breath of the Wild was good. So let's go back into that world, play around a little more, see what else we can do with those base mechanics. And let me tell you something right now. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is one of my all-time favorite Mario games. But that gameplay is identical to Super Mario Galaxy. All they really did with Galaxy 2 was just add new worlds and new power-ups. But the gameplay otherwise was just the exact same. So a sequel can be just more of what the first one was and still be great. In fact, there's a very nice comfort in it being just the same thing, honestly. So I'm looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom just as much as I have before. I do want maybe one more trailer to show exactly like the new stuff, but like either way, I'm excited for it. Also, Christy is on chat.
I think that Brandon, you just answered my question.
Cool. Glad I could answer that.
Because I now understand why you're okay with Splatoon 3 just being upgrades to Splatoon 2. And also why you're okay with Mario Kart 8 being Mario Kart 8 with new stuff. It makes sense. And it's cool that like that satisfies you. I think that's awesome. And I think it satisfies a lot of people because they just want a better experience for things that they love. And I think that's awesome.
Cool.
I understand now. Don't agree personally, but I understand.
Everyone's got different tastes, and that's fair.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fine. Yeah, completely. Yeah, I think that's fine. So, Gabe, do you want to go next about the direct? Any standouts?
No, you can go next with your negative Nanciness.
I'll let you go.
But the thing, I don't really have much to say about the direct.
Great, so then you should just get it all out now.
You're absolutely right. I was happy for Metroid fans that they finally got their Metroid Prime remake or remaster, whatever it is, because it's not a remake. And they've been asking for that for literally since the Switch came out. So good for them. I kind of like how it was like just thrown into the direct. There was no previous like, oh, Prime is coming. But it was like, hey, we're doing this. Shut up, stop asking us. That does beg the question if they're still working on Prime 4 and when that's going to come out.
Man, but at this point, it's not no that has to still be coming. But I'm seriously just wondering if they're just saving that for the next system at this point. Much like the Mario Kart game that'll eventually.
We're gonna have to wait a couple of years because they haven't finished milking out Mario Kart 8 yet.
Nope.
Yep.
Can't wait. Continue.
So yeah, happy for the Metroid fans. Glad you finally got that. I'm probably not gonna get it for a while because never really played Metroid like that. A lot of small stuff that could have been tweeted. Me and Jarrell say this every direct. It feels bad because the point of the direct is so they can showcase these games in an environment that they know people are going to watch because they're watching it for other stuff. So smart marketing, whatever. Glad for the Pikmin fans. They got some more Pikmin trailer-y stuff in the beginning.
I didn't mention this before, but that dog looks adorable. Continue.
You guys keep talking about a dog, but I don't remember a dog in that trailer, so I have to go back and look for that dog.
Dog looks so bad.
I think he looks adorable. God. He is friend-shaped.
Oh.
I am a fan of like weird dogs. I have this Poochie amiibo here, for example.
Dude, that also looks bad.
It's an amiibo?
It's an amiibo, yeah. It's got on his tush. It's got like the amiibo like scanner that you just like
on the stomach.
No, it's not on the stomach.
They have it on the stomach and it's on the butt.
No, you have Poochie sit down on the wherever the scans and then.
Oh,
that's great. That's great.
Interesting. So yeah, good for Pikmin. The Game Boy announcements would have been better if they put Pokemon in it. Am I wrong?
I don't care.
I'm just saying they're probably gonna say that for Pokemon Day. I think that like
and probably, but at the same time, with the way they've been treating their online libraries, I don't think they will. I think
there have been rumors about the different wording for Pokemon Home and how it no longer says that you can't go backwards. So there have been rumors that we're gonna get them.
Yeah, we'll wait on that. I still don't think it's worth it. Yeah, you gave me a couple of good games. We only got 6 for the Game Boy Advance. What?
I was just gonna say they're doing the same thing they did with the other ones, right? Which is just like they launch with like 6, they're gonna give you a few more randomly because who knows when they're gonna drop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair though, at least they're not doing what they did with the SNES and the NES, where it's like they dropped a couple and then we had to wait like 7 months for
Yeah.
one. So at least they're not bottlenecking it like that anymore. But still, I feel like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance libraries are they're a little underwhelming. But I already have the subscription, so I get to play them. I will say for the Game Boy Advance one, I don't know how the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color one works. When you're playing, at least when I was playing with the Joy Cons disconnected, I
Mm-hmm.
could only play with one, and it had to be turned sideways. Very
Ooh.
uncomfortable. I don't
Mm.
know if that was a me thing. I haven't heard of anyone else talk about
I
it.
gotta test that because
Yeah,
that's.
test it out for me, please, because I did it. And I was like, if this is how I have to play this with Joy Cons, I'm just gonna use my Pro controller because they're not like that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
because I do have to test that legitimately because when I play my Switch at work, I like set it on the table and then desktop mode and then take the Joy Cons out and just play it like this. So
Really? That's
yeah,
interesting.
like
yeah,
I know
that's how I
some people
usually play
prefer
it.
to just like do handheld. Like I
Too.
do that if I'm like sitting down or like laying down. But if I'm like in a sitting upright, I prefer to do it that way.
Yeah.
So
Shit, I might give you a live review right on the podcast. Hold on, continue talking.
I do want to bring this something. I was gonna bring this up when I was talking about the direct, but you brought it up first, Gabe, and I'll just mention it really quickly. That is one of my biggest problems with playing older games on the Switch. A lot of these games, at least the ones that I've experienced from playing like N64 and NES stuff, they aren't optimized for the Switch. Specifically, like
The
I was trying
N64
to play
one
Majora's
is
Mask because I had never played it, and then it was like move the C stick, and I was like, "Bitch, I ain't got no C stick. Like, what is the C
yeah.
stick?" And like aiming, I was so frustrated because there's also no like one-to-one in the game for what that was supposed to be,
Mhm.
and it really ruined the experience for me. And I was like, "What's the point of putting these games on here?" And I figured out how to do it now. I don't remember because I turned it off, but I figured out how to do it now. But what's the point of putting these games on here if they're not going to be optimized properly? I know it's not going to be an issue for like Game Boy Advance games or Game Boy games, but you know, like what Gabe mentioned, I shouldn't have to go pay $70 for a Pro controller to make this $80 family plan or $50 singular plan service work since it's being advertised as something that I'm paying for. And that is a big issue that I have with some of the older games on coming to the Switch personally.
Like that's my other thing too. Like some of those games have had their 3D or their Wii U remasters, and my
Mhm.
thing is like I understand you're doing this because it's your digital library and it's for the old games the way they used to be played. But like if you're gonna do that and if you're not gonna optimize the controllers, I would really rather have just the port like the 3DS ports of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask would have done great on the Switch because the C stick thing they made the games for the 3DS so you could use the C stick. You didn't have to press. I think you have to press R the back button R and then that turns the X Y B A buttons into the C stick on
Mm.
the on what would have been the Nintendo 64 controller. So like I think when like that was my problem with the library. Like people were like, "Oh, you finally got your Zelda games on." I was like, "That's cool," but like you can't bring me these old games. You can't legally bring me these old games and then not give me the best version you could have given me. Like
And then charge
again,
me
and then
for
charge me,
buying
yeah, to
the
play it like
how much is the Nintendo
60
64
bucks.
controller? That's what I
That's a that's a,
that's what I
that's
mean. Not
that's the
gonna pay
cost of one of
60 bucks.
these. Like
Yep.
I should not
No,
be.
those are 70.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, to be fair, still within a $10 range. I should not be paying something that's within a
Yes,
$10 range of a new generation console
you're right.
controller for an N64 wireless controller, which from I've heard gives latency to the game because it's wireless. Like
Mm.
I I don't like to bag on things I love like Zelda games and finally having a library of digital old games we could play without Nintendo being like, "Why are you downloading it on your iPhone? It shouldn't be there." But like, I feel like there's always better options, and Nintendo gets a little lazy sometimes. So that's why I'm always gonna go against libraries that are added. I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but
So,
Fair. I
when
think
you
it's
have
very
when you
fair
give us
criticism.
when you give us better options, you should stick to those better options. Like,
I think it's fair criticism.
yeah.
so I do want to give a quick follow up real quick because while you guys were talking, I was testing it out here on my Switch, and the game initially, what happened to you did happen to me where I put it on and it just like switched to one Joy-Con, but then I went to the home menu and then switched it to like have the controller set up there too, and then now it's I don't know why by default it goes to have being one Joy-Con, but you can fix that.
Okay. That's a long fix to just play the damn
It
game,
really is.
but I'm glad you figured it out because I really wouldn't have figured it out myself. So I'm glad you did that, so I can play it like that.
Yeah, I just went to
because
the change controller feature on the home menu.
yeah, but I mean, it makes sense to have it like that because the Game Boy was
Yeah, I guess they figured
that one thing.
that,
Yeah,
like,
but
I don't want to do it like that.
Nintendo just does whatever Nintendo wants sometimes.
Nintendo
In regards to the rest of the direct, I talked about Metroid. We talked about Zelda, Pikmin, games that could have been tweets. I feel like there's something I'm missing. Oh, I poked fun at the Fantasy Life game because it literally looked like Animal Crossing got an update. But I was just making fun of Animal Crossing fans because, haha, you don't have an update anymore for your game.
Yeah.
um,
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you both real quick. Like, I did an awful job of explaining Fantasy Life earlier, but have you guys either of you ever heard of it at all, like that series?
actually, no. That was my first time.
Okay, so I won't keep it long. Basically, there's a lot of Animal Crossing to it because there's a life sim game, but there's also RPG elements. Basically, you pick a job and that will kind of like dictate like what kind of like stuff you do. If you're like a warrior, you're basically playing like an RPG light adventure. If you're like a cook, you're going out and gathering herbs and like doing like cooking mini games. If you're a blacksmith, you're making weapons for people. Like so, your gameplay, your day-to-day gameplay is going to be dependent on the job that you choose, and you can change jobs. So if you wanted to do some blacksmithing, be a fisherman, be a cook, or whatever. You can mix and match those. My friend Oscar, he did everything. Like he picked his favorite ones first, and then just eventually did all the jobs, and he got the most out of it. I did like maybe 2 jobs, but no, it's a lot of fun, especially if you have multiplayer friends to do it with. Because you're a blacksmith, you can make weapons for your friends that are like the warriors. Just as an example.
I thought you were gonna say you could be a black man, and I thought you were gonna say it again when you said blacksmith again.
I said blacksmith twice. Don't be.
I know. I really was like, you were like, you could be a cook, you could be a black guy. I might have to buy this game now. Maybe I'm getting old. I have no interest in being.
I mean, Jarrell, if you buy the game, you can be a black man that is a blacksmith.
Oh,
okay,
the other
if
game.
one person follows me up, no, I'm not.
I'm not doing that anymore. The other game that I was interested in, just because it looked silly, was that Disney Illusion Island game.
Yeah, that looks like. Does that have online?
I believe
It better. It says
so. I think it
multiplayer.
said I don't know.
Yeah, it says multiplayer for up to 4 players. It better have online.
I mean, it's Disney, not Nintendo, but it's also releasing on Switch, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right, well,
That's my
because we're running out of time.
Okay.
And I want to talk about stuff.
Go ahead. Talk about stuff.
Go ahead, Brendan. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the last thing I was just gonna say is like it's still like I'm still gonna get Kirby because whenever my nephew's here, we can play it together. But it still really disappoints me that the game doesn't have online for going through the adventure. It's just a shame. But anyway.
So my turn. Pikmin 4. Yay! I'm so happy for y'all. It's actually coming out. Happy for myself because it's one of my fantasy critic picks. Haha, bitches! It's gonna score great, and I'm gonna get a lot of points and not care about the game at all. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I saw that and I was like, "What is this Bayonetta DLC?" And it wasn't Bayonetta. That was weird. Samba de Amigo. All the characters are really ugly. Pass for me. Fast Dreamer.
The one Hispanic game? The one Hispanic game? That's
First
racist.
of all, it's got black people in it, and they still ugly. I didn't say it was racist. I just said the characters were ugly. The monkey character is kind of ugly. Yep.
Oh no!
Okay, now it does sound like a bit racist. But the monkey was ugly. Make cute monkeys, then we wouldn't have this problem.
So why did you play Super Monkey Ball? He's a cute monkey.
I have played Super Monkey Ball because that is a cute monkey.
Correct.
Fast Dreamer was really weird. Should have been a mobile game. Castlevania, I think, was mentioned, right?
It was the
Yeah,
Dead Cells DLC.
That was cool. I don't play those games.
The
but that
music was cool, yeah.
The music was great.
Tron.
Yeah.
Nobody. I'm not gonna say nobody. I know people that care about Tron. I'm not one of them. Ghost Trick, didn't know what that was. Deca Police is probably
Trick to go.
racist, but I'm gonna
Oh,
probably
wait,
buy
wait,
it.
wait. Okay, so really quick, because I actually went back and looked at the trailer. So it's not powerful profiling. It's deep profiling.
Wow. You just ruined my whole internet personality. Why'd you tell me that? Could have told me after the podcast. Now I can't be racist against the game. So Deca Police, I made a list of games I want to get from the direct. Deca Police was like one of the 3 games. So yeah, that's there you go. Huh?
3's better than 2.
And maybe there were 4. We'll see. That was one of them. As I go through, I'll see if there are any more. Bayonetta Origins looks cool, cute, adorable. Don't care about Splatoon. Didn't care about Illusion Island. Got the Fire Emblem DLC because I didn't pay for the game. Don't remember what Harmony was. Octopath Traveler 2 is the only game that matters in life, and it'll be out next Friday, so everyone should go play it.
Can I ask you which adventure you're planning to start with?
I have no idea. So I have been talking... I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Probably
whatever.
Not.
I have no idea. So I already have my party. I have my party of 4. I know who I'm taking. I did start the demo. I didn't play much. I haven't had time to play anything, unfortunately. Sure. I started it with the bitch that I knew I was gonna hate, which
Agnia?
is the dancer.
Damn it! I love Agnia.
Yeah. Of course you do, Brandon. Like, it's such a Brandon character. And you know, I hate the whole like my first adventure and my mom was a dancer and I want to go be a dancer and I'm gonna go be famous and I'm gonna like be awesome. Like, girl, stay home. Like,
but here's the thing, Jarrell. As much as I love Agnia, like I love her character, she is actually not the one I'm planning on starting with. I'm actually planning on starting with Oswald, the scholar.
Interesting. I was thinking about him, but I heard some stuff about him and decided I'm not starting with him because I started with Cyrus because I love Cyrus. And his story very much reminded me of like, you know, the going for revenge, like Primrose type story.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
that was kind of to me.
I'm actually, it's either going to be Throne or, I forgot her name, whatever, I don't know.
Amnesiac girl or?
The cleric woman?
Yeah, that's the Amnesiac one. No, the cleric is the guy. The Amnesiac one is the apothecary.
Yes, her. She seems, that seems interesting. Mm-hmm. I've heard that all the stories are like I've heard the worst story of this one is better than the best story of the first one.
That's good praise.
Yeah.
I want to finish the first one now.
Please do. Please do.
I mean, I'm going to because it's for you, but that just like kind of like killed it for me.
You should. No, but like they're really good. They're still good. That just means this one's better. Katamari rolling around. Who cares? Sea of Stars. I was disappointed in that demo. It was decent. It is no longer a must buy on day one for me though. After playing,
that's
demo.
so funny. You and I completely switched that after the demo.
I was ready to buy it day one, and then I was like, I hope they're gonna fix this. Omega Strikers don't know what it is. Yeah. Advance Wars 1 and 2, they didn't show any gameplay because there's a war. That was smart. Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I love it for you guys who like Kirby. Don't give a shit. I've already complained about the online services for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy. I have issues with the way Nintendo handles online. However, I'm very, very happy that we're finally getting these games somewhere. So there's some form of game preservation for these games. I think that's so important. I think that's awesome. I think that's so important. Awesome for Metroid Prime people. I heard that game's really good. Rain Code was the second game, and Batten Kaitos was the third game. Those are probably the only 3 that I have on a list to purchase. Professor Layton's getting something new. I was like, that's cool. Didn't know what Fantasy Life was. I'd heard about it before. Mario Kart 8 didn't give a shit, and I've already talked about Legend of Zelda. As far as the direct, how I felt about it, I think it was a cop-out. Sorry. I think most of the big focus was on old games, right? Like their big thing that was like, here's what we're showing off. They had 2 things that they were showing off, right? One of them was Tears of the Kingdom, which was at the end because like you have to do it because it's coming out soon and you got to give people a teaser. And the other big thing was a bunch of remakes, a bunch of old things coming out. Here's Game Boy Advance and Game Boy, things people have been asking for to kind of just like what's the word, like settle you guys for a little bit until we reveal what's coming out and within the rest of the year.
But Jarrell, let me ask you something real quick. For you personally, would you say then that's a kind of a relief though? Because I know you're more interested in like playing the new stuff that's like currently out. So would the fact that there was like a lot of old stuff be like, oh good, I don't have to play like half of this then, or more than half of this?
No, not really.
Really?
Because yeah, and it's really not. It's kind of. I think it's just for me because I got a little annoyed. I get a little annoyed rather when I want my friends to be playing these really good games that are coming out with me, but then everybody's just like playing fucking Game Boy Advance from 7 years, like 12 years, like 15. Who, like, shut up, y'all! Go play your brand new PS5. Like we have, and this year is so stacked, right? Like, and I was. Perfect example. I was talking to Job about the Direct, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I definitely want to play some of these older games." I was like, "Bitch, no, we have other new games to play. Like, I will end this service before I let you go play Pokemon Gold and Red a million times. Like, no, you've played Fire Emblem, Gold and you've played all these things before. You had your experience. This is for when you don't have anything else to play, right? And
that doesn't exist.
Huh?
That doesn't exist. Doesn't have anything else to play.
But it does, though. There are those moments, like, he just had one of those moments, right? Like, I've had those moments where, like, there's new games that I'm not interested in. I don't have anything else to play. Let me go back to a comfort game, right? Like, that, to me, is what Nintendo Switch Online is for. It's for, like, hey, I used to play this game when I was a kid. Let me play 5 minutes of it to get that nostalgia back and turn it off. It's not like, this is what I'm gonna be playing for the next 6 weeks. Like, I'm super invested in Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Let me play it 10 more times because it was just that fucking good. Like, it's the best Legend of Zelda game ever. And if that's for you, that's awesome. But I think for me and for us, for people who are we have this job where we talk about video games every week. Like, we're on a podcast talking about video games every week. What is coming for the Switch? The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. What's coming for the second half of the Switch? I guess we'll find out.
Pikmin.
And that's why I mean that was such a cop-out, because everyone's so excited about all these old games, and I'm the one who's like, bitch, what am I playing after Octopath 2? Not fucking Metroid Prime. I don't want to play another remake. I want to know what you guys have been working on. The same reason I want to know what Xbox has been working on. The same reason I'm waiting for PlayStation to be like, I'm trying to plan out my money and my time this year. Like, and I already have a shit ton of games on these other platforms that I want to play. I want to play Redfall. I'm going to have Final Fantasy 16 soon. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have Octopath. Like, I have these games that I'm gonna love, that I'm trying to finish. I have games on my backlog that I'm trying to finish, and I don't want to add more old games to it. So to answer your question, I think I already did, but like, no, I'm not excited. I don't want my friends.
No, that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask if you're excited about these old games. I'm asking if you're relieved that there's not.
Oh yes, no, I'm not. Yes, no, I'm not, because now all of my friends are stuck in the past. Get the fuck out of the past. Stop being excited. The game's like, oh, I'm gonna play Pokemon again. I'm like, bitch, finish your current Pokedex. Like, you haven't even
finished that game sucks.
Game, and you want to go play fucking 10-year-old fucking Pokemon. Like, bro,
because it doesn't have a frame rate issue.
I feel like,
but no, really quick to add on to what Drell was saying. This is what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago when we did the podcast where we were each covering a specific company, and I said, we don't know what the hell they're doing at the second half of 2023, and we're not going to know for a while. We're probably not going to know until the end of June. So it's like, I kind of agree with you. Like, this was a cop-out. Like, this is like, yeah, bro, look, you Metroid fans, you finally got your remake, but guess what? You don't know when you're getting your next one. So I do agree with you in that sense, and I do to Brandon's question about, weren't you happy that you don't have all these new games to play? I agree with you with that too, because like, to me, when I watch these presentations, I want to finish the presentation with like, holy shit, how am I gonna play all these games? Right. So I get where you're coming from, but this is what I was talking about. Like, we don't know what the second half of 2023 for Nintendo is, and we still don't know, because the latest release we have is, I think, July. So
it was very much like, let me distract everyone by giving them Game Boy Advance.
And that's a weird thing.
That's the time that they've been asking for. Tears of the Kingdom's coming up, so we gotta throw that in there. And like, we're gonna sprint. They've been fucking waiting for Advance Wars 1 and 2. Gotta drop that one in there. What's coming out? Just throw Tears of the Kingdom. It'll be fine. That's what we got. And that's okay for people that are excited for that. But for me, looking forward to the future, I was underwhelmed because, and I think we talked about this too, because I brought it up, and I think Brandon, you were the one who told me that usually at this time they'll show off like one or two titles that are coming out later in the year, and they didn't even do that. Like, I guess you
Pikmin was literally it.
Tears of the Kingdom if you want, but like,
well, not really. That's still the first half.
Yeah, that's in May.
Oh shit! Is that close? No
it's
wonder.
That close. So it's like
yes, that's what I said. You already got a time, dude.
Yeah, you got it is as of this recording, February 15th. You got 3 months to finish that thing.
No, technically you only have a week because I know you're not gonna play it after
the
trailer comes out. Yeah, so I don't. You only got a week to play that game.
Oh no. It's yeah. Go ahead, Brandon, if you wanted to elaborate on what I was saying.
Not really. Like, well, yeah, just basically like they usually, what you already said is they usually like throw in like one or two like later games. And to be fair, I guess there were some games that they just said 2023 and didn't give a month. So I guess those could slip into the month. But as far as I'm concerned, if it wasn't really given a definitive date, I'm not really counting it. So to my statement, I think Pikmin 4 is like really the only game that's like past that first half window of 2023, and they started with the direct with it. So that in a way that almost may have like let's say altered expectations of people, like, because the statement of these things was say mostly focus on of this time period.
Yeah.
But then you started off with a game that's starting off in July, so people are like, wow, what else are they going to show? And then you come out at the end of the presentation, you're like, damn, they really did just focus on that first half. We still don't know. Like Gabe said, we don't know what the hell's happening in the second half of this year, really. And we won't.
And then also to Gabe's other point, it was like a bunch of the games where I don't like to say games that could have been tweets. I don't actually like that phrase, but a couple of them, like Fashion Designer, Amigo Day, whatever it's called. Like, I'm sorry, I don't remember what the name is, but like there are so many of them that are just like one-offs that you're gonna buy and play with your kids, right? Like none of them are like, you have a Switch OLED, like this is what the fuck you bought one for. And that's why I feel if I were to objectively evaluate the Switch as a whole, I do feel like a lot of it was just cop-outs for this is what y'all been asking for, now shut the fuck up and go play all these old games while we figure out what we're doing for the second half of the year. And I don't consider that to be a great direct like everyone else has been. However, I do still appreciate the preservation of old games and the importance of having them available on Nintendo Switch Online. However, at the same time, I don't appreciate increasing the price to be able to access all of them, because like I think it's the Game Boy Advance games, right, that you can't access it unless you have the $50 a year plan. So right. You only get Game Boy.
You get Game Boy, yeah.
I don't like that. And I understand that PlayStation's doing something similar, but I feel like those games that they're having on PlayStation, nobody really cares for, whereas a lot of people have been waiting for something like Game Boy Advance, so you're kind of forcing the hand of people who have been asking for this type of stuff. I will say at least they didn't makes things like the Metroid Prime remake. I'm pretty sure it's not full price. I think it's like $30-$40. I appreciate things like that, especially because I've heard that it's a really, really great like remake. Like they've done a lot more than they needed to make it be awesome for $30. But at the same time, you're advertising these like they're available for everyone, and they're not. And I know that all of us have obviously bought into the $50 a year. I do it with PlayStation.
Clowns.
I do it with PlayStation. I did it with Nintendo. I'm on a family plan. It is what it is. But I just imagine not having paid that $50 and then finally seeing like, okay, I did play Game Boy Advance. Like that was when I was gaming handheld. We all had the little fucking light on your Game Boy, and so you could see at night and like play this shit. Like my first Pokemon game was on there, right? So I'm like, okay, hype. But then I wonder, like, would I pay $50 for the year to play these games? And I think the answer for me personally is no. If I didn't have it, I would not pay $50 a year to be able to play these older games. It's cool that I do have it because I'm using it anyway to play Smash and Pokemon and like whatever. But I still don't see the. I guess you gotta whatever. I guess I do see the value. I just don't see it as the like, oh my god, this direct was amazing. It was the best direct ever. Like, I'm not seeing.
I don't think it was the best.
Yeah,
direct
it wasn't
ever.
the best direct ever.
Y'all was really acting like it was. When
I had some announcements that made me legitimately happy, and I enjoyed it for that much. But no, I think we've had better directs.
Yeah, I feel like it was a better direct than we've had in a while, but it's definitely not one of the best directs.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, because that's not the vibe I was getting, and that's also not the vibe I get on Twitter. A lot of people.
It's
and that's why I don't like when you guys talk to me about like, oh, this is how people on Twitter feel. Like when I blow it off, it's not because I don't care. It's because Twitter is usually such a different world from what people actually feel like. So like,
Twitter's not real life.
Yeah, it really isn't. But like that's why I don't really pay attention to people's reactions on Twitter, because it's like the only time I'll listen is if like they're bagging on someone for something dumb like too much water. But like aside from that, I always have to bring that up. Sorry, but like aside from that, though, like when I finally went back on Twitter after having a week hiatus, I went back. I kind of saw like some people still talking about the direct and stuff. I was like, bro, that shit was a week ago. It is not that much to talk about. Like it wasn't as good as you guys are like fanboying right now. But it's like Brandon says, everyone has their own different, likes and dislikes. So maybe for them it really was the best direct that was there. But I think I can confidently say, for at least me and Brandon, that it wasn't the best direct we've ever seen.
I just think the highs were, for me at least, were really high, and the lows were just low. That's
I can't wait to post the screenshots of y'all talking about how it was great on our Twitter.
I never said it was the best though.
I didn't post it. I don't post my direct reaction on Twitter.
I said I am going to post screenshots of what y'all said about the direct on Twitter after this recording.
Oh, okay.
We still have time to go edit. Go, Brandon, go.
That was the
well, guys, thanks for watching the stream. See you later.
No, actually, that's
time
right.
to delete the VOD.
So I'll really quickly, since I have 5 minutes left, I do want to ask you guys, do you think that Nintendo Switch Online is current? Because I know that you guys are way more into older games than I am. Do you think that Nintendo Switch Online is worth it now?
I think you said it best, Jarrell. Like if you're just not at all into old games whatsoever, then the answer is absolutely not. Not even the basic plan. If you just want to play online, I think yes, the basic plan is worth for everyone, because I think having just that ability to play online games with your friends
at $20 a year.
Correct. At $20 a year, it's 100% worth it to get the basic plan, because it gives you, like, even if you don't care about the online game, the old games or whatever, you have the option to play with your friends. You get those perks, like you get to like download stuff like Tetris 99 for free. You get those deals. You get to participate in the Nintendo Switch Online rewards, which get you platinum points, which you can exchange for icons or physical rewards. So yeah, the basic one at this point, 100% worth it. As far as the expansion pack is concerned, what it is at the end of the day, is just DLC for very specific games and access to 3 libraries of older games. And again, I say, if you don't care about those older games, then absolutely not. It's not worth it to you. And then those DLC, it's gonna really largely depend on what games you're getting. They chose the ones that they felt everyone had. Mario Kart, that it sold really well. Animal Crossing, everyone had that at the time. So there was that. And then what else did they throw on there? They still do Splatoon 2. The Splatoon 2 one was that was basically advertised for Splatoon 3. Like, that DLC had been out forever, and they just threw it on there just to help sell 3 more. So yeah, I think the higher tier to this point is still a harder sell if you're not into all of it. But if you are a lover of classic games, then by this point now it is 100% worth it, because now you have 3 platforms worth of games: N64, Genesis, and now Game Boy Advance. By this point, the N64 library has grown quite big. The Genesis library has a lot of classics at this point, and the Game Boy Advance. If you know at least somewhat of the history of the Game Boy Advance's library, you know that they are primed to get some really good games in the near future if they keep going at the pace they're going. So looking forward to that. So that's my answer.
So, I want to ask a different question, and I'm running out of time. No, I'm gonna let you answer. We have 2 minutes, so I'm definitely gonna let you answer, and I still want to ask a different question. But I want you to answer both questions, so I'll just ask it now. The second question was very simple. It was just, how often do you actually use or play the older games on NSO?
Hey, so to answer that question, I actually play those games at least every 2 days because they do have Zelda titles, and I do like the little triangle graphics every now and then, and I do like running through the Mario levels every now and then. But then to answer your first question, no, I don't think it's worth it because there's freer. That's not a word. There are ways to get these games that are free on my Steam Deck on my iPhone where I can sideload an app, and I have a wider library open to me. And I
With
still
better
don't
controls.
with better controls, customizable controls. In the case of the Steam Deck, actually, and my iPhone, better screens, more vibrant colors. But so I 100% don't think that annoyingly big price hike from the original to the expansion pass is
30 extra
worth
bucks.
it. Yeah, I still don't think it's worth it at this point. Maybe if they fix the actual online connectivity, I'd stop bagging on it so much. But that also doesn't seem to have been fixed with the price hike. So if you're still on the original one, I'd say stay on that until either the libraries grow better or our connection runs more like butter and less like molasses. Damn, that was a good one, Gabe.
Got it.
Sorry.
So, Brendan, aside from does it hold up, how often do you find yourself willingly going to play some of these older games?
I go to the N64 usually like once a week, mainly because there's like those are the games that I like checking in like a little bit each time, especially Pokemon Puzzle League. I play that. I play that one quite often because that was one of my favorite games, and it's great for like a quick session of like puzzles and whatever. I feel like
That's perfect.
yeah. I'll just leave it at that. I go once a week.
Because you're wasting your time on old games when I'm asking you to play other ones.
I-
Wonderful. Thanks, guys.
I've been playing my
And-
new games.
I spend at least once a week playing old Pixel Zelda because I love it so much.
I said every 2 days, and that was before all
Oh,
these
every
games started
2
coming.
days?
Yeah, you're out here mixing our answers.
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
It was
playing
before
old
these
Pixel
games
Zelda
started coming out.
I'm playing old Pixel Zelda 3 days out of 7. Oh, look at me. I'm so cool. Old
Like, bro, if I have to whoop your ass in Smash Bros. Again, just let me know.
Oh, we got the spike on him.
Oh my god, Brandon! Oh my god! Alright, well, clearly it's time to end this podcast. I had one more thing to say, so I'm gonna say it very quickly and then I'm gonna end. And it's about the Fire Emblem Engage DLC. I complained. I will run back a few of my complaints, or pull back a few of my complaints. Only because I still don't think you should release DLC on the same day a game releases.
Agreed.
I think that's bullshit. However, I do appreciate the way that they've done the waves kind of quickly.
Yeah,
because it is allowed for you to, because I my biggest complaint was that I'm not gonna be playing this game in a few months when Wave 2 comes out and I'm not gonna care, and they were like, no bitch, we're gonna give this to you while you're still playing this game, and I think that's awesome. I think giving players the ability to, especially because the DLC is with engaged like emblem rings, giving us the emblem rings while we play the game is such a smart idea. Yeah. That I think would have, if I hadn't already bought the DLC, that probably would have convinced me to be like, all right, well, I might as well buy it now before I finish the game, because now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra rings that I can use through my regular playthrough, so it's not something I have to go back and replay the whole game later on. So I do appreciate that, and I did want to come out and say that because I appreciate the way that they've been able to give us the waves of DLC much quicker than I anticipated, which allows for me to actually use the DLC while I'm playing the game, as opposed to making me go back and play the game 6 months from now, and I'm not going to do it and then be mad that I wasted $30 fucking. So I just had to get that out as far as the Engage DLC goes. Very shocked by them just being like, and it's available today. I was like, bitch, what?
Yeah,
right now?
So fast.
You fucking with me? Are you serious? And they were like, yeah, we're serious. And yeah, so that was awesome. I haven't been able to like get any yet because I haven't had any time, but yeah. So I run that back. I was complaining. I still complain because you should not release DLC on the same day. Mm-hmm. I would have felt better if they would have just made it like a pre-order bonus, the first DLC wave or something. Sure. Like anything that could have given some goodwill. I promise you I would have bought the DLC in a shorter amount of time had they done that, because I've been enjoying the game. But I do appreciate them being like, here, take the shit while you're playing the game. And with that, it's been a wonderful evening. It's been a good direct. I love talking to you guys.
It's been the best in the world.
I can't wait to post the receipts. And yeah, with that, I think that's it. So bye, everybody.
Bye.